Namaste yogis, my name is Alana Kaivalya. It's a pleasure to be here with you today, and today we'll be talking about the story of Hanuman. Hanuman is actually my favorite character, and he comes from the story of the Ramayana, which is an epic poem or tale based on the life of Ram and Sita. Ram was a great king, and he had a very beautiful girlfriend named Sita. Ram was also very lucky to have an incredible best friend known as Hanuman. Hanuman was a monkey, but he had some pretty extraordinary qualities, the foremost of which is that Hanuman is a tremendously devoted friend. Hanuman has 3 yoga poses dedicated to him, the first of which actually is the one that I'm seated in here, Virasana-hero pose. The way that we do this posture now is with the knees together, the feet slightly apart, and seated right between the heels. If it's challenging to sit all the way on the floor in this pose, you can always sit on the yoga block. Hanuman began as a young child whose father was the god of the wind, Vayu, and whose mother was a very beautiful woman named Anjana. As a youngster, he was quite precocious, and he woke up one morning to see the sun shining brightly in the sky, and he thought it was a mango. So he used his special powers and raced up toward the sun. Just as he got close to it, he thought he would take a bite out of the mango, but the sun god Indra saw him and shot a lightning bolt at Hanuman, which hit him in the jaw. And Hanuman fell to the ground and lay dead. Well, his father Vayu was so upset that he sucked up all the wind from the earth. The beings started to suffocate. Gods held an emergency meeting to figure out what to do. And they decided on a compromise. That the little baby, at that point, whose name was Anjaneya, would be given his life back. But he wouldn't be able to be raised by his mother, because a mother's job is always to tell her children how amazing and special and powerful they are. But Hanuman, being a demigod, was a little too amazing and special and powerful for his own precocious nature. And then he was sent to live in the forest with a band of monkeys. And he was also cursed with short-term memory, which made him forget how special he was. As a youngster, his name was Anjaneya because his mother's name was Anjana. Very helpful to know whose house to return these precocious youngsters to when they get into trouble, or they're named after their parents. Anjaneyasana is a kneeling lunge pose. Begin with your hips over your knee. In this case, I've got my right knee forward. Point the left toes behind you, and you can start by interlacing the fingers and placing them on the front knee. Sink the hips. As you do so, draw the tailbone down and the lower belly in. This helps to protect the lower back. So as the hips sink, you can lift the chest up. Breathe space into the lower back and raise the arms up overhead. This is Anjaneyasana, pose named for the baby Hanuman before he got his new name, Anjaneya. Remain here for a few breaths. Feel a stretch across the front of the left side of the body. And if you press a little bit into the left top of the foot, you'll feel a more even stretch. Keep the shoulders down away from the ears. And switch sides. Remember to sink the tailbone down, draw the lower belly in and up in order to protect the lower back. Now let's move into Virasana-hero pose. As Hanuman grew up with his fellow monkeys, he started to embody what it means to be a hero. The only difference between the hero and the coward is that the hero did it anyway. So Virasana is actually named for Hanuman. And we do this shape like this, where we're seated between our heels. But originally, Virasana was looking a little bit different. I'm going to use a block. Originally, Virasana looked like this. Seated on one foot with one knee up. Ram, Hanuman's best friend, got into a bit of trouble. His girlfriend was stolen by an evil demon, Ravana. And Ravana then started a war with Ram, to try to get all the things that Ram had, that he wanted. Well, Ram, of course, was charged with leading his troops into battle, but he needed to save his girlfriend too. So he sent his best friend Hanuman on the task. Hanuman walked down to the very southern tip of India, and he looked across this great expanse of ocean. And Ravana lived on the island of Lanka. Hanuman didn't know how he was going to get there, so he knelt down in this shape, and he prayed for grace to fill him up. He prayed for the faith that he knew that he could do this task that seemed impossible. He prayed to be filled with confidence. And most of all, he prayed to be filled with love. The love for his best friend, Ram. Because when we love someone, that will actually get us through any task that seems impossible. So this is our original Virasana shape. You can try it this way, or you can try it as we classically do it today, seated between the heels. Just make sure that all 10 toes point straight back and lift the heart. All three of Hanuman's postures are actually deep hip flexor openers, psoas openers. And the psoas is a muscle in the body that tends to hold on to fear. It's one of the first muscles that reacts in a fight or flight response. Because we today are under constant stress, that muscle is often turned on. So as we start to open hip flexors and we start to open the psoas, we actually begin to relieve our fear and our stress. And when fear and stress are gone, we're capable of anything. The last Hanuman pose, of course, is Hanumanasana. I'm going to start in a downward dog for this shape. From here you can step the right foot forward between the hands. And let's try a half Hanumanasana to begin. Bring the hips directly over the left knee and bring the right foot forward a little bit in order to straighten the right leg. Pull the right toes back to the nose. Pull forward over the right leg. You're more than welcome to stay in this shape. You can also place the hands on blocks or even just keep the torso up. For full Hanumanasana, you want to extend the feet away from one another. Do your best to try to get all 5 toenails of the back foot on the floor and lift the heart. You can bring the hands to prayer, or you can reach the arms up overhead. Now for the other side. Let's step the left foot forward. Remember, you can also do half Hanumanasana, or extend the feet away from one another and come into the full version of the pose. So when you're here, remember that Hanuman embodies the essence of friendship, and devotion, and happiness. Not so much suffering. So you can keep that in mind and keep breathing, even as you're leaving.